Something different today. I'm in the shed. Not really something different. It's the same stuff, different day. So today we're making some rock sliders. The last ones I had on there, I didn't really have a problem with them. So I don't know why I'm making them again, but you know, the things you do. So one thing I will be doing this time is to avoid something like this mad sill dent, is I'm going to plate the tops in, because that happened, like a log flicked up off my wheel, hit the slider, got jammed in there and punched it in. And I've seen that a few times on a few different cars, and it happened to me. So I'm going to be plating all the top in, and yeah, doing some scrub rails and things like that as well. So I'm doing a weld-on style onto the chassis. So weld the plate to the chassis and then another plate to the sliders, and then they bolt together. I've actually got them, so I'll get them and show you. But yeah, the other ones I made were like clamp-on style. Again, I didn't really have a problem with that, but because this is all getting engineered, yeah, I thought I'd do the weld-on style this time. So yeah, I'll get the plates, I'll show you them, and then we'll make a start. So these are the plates, 8mm. So yeah, that gets drilled and tapped, 12mm holes, and then that gets welded to the slider, and then they sandwich together on the chassis with some bolts. Obviously, the bolts are flush with the end of that. So yeah, good way of doing it, nice and strong, and yeah, you can sort of weld the tube to the bottom section in, and you can have a nice big corner gusset to stop flexing as well. And good hot tip, get these cut out and easily cap the end of your tube. Hey, that is a brilliant idea. That saves a lot of time cutting it out of plate, and it's heaps neater. You get a nice finish on the cap, so yeah, stock up on them. I've also got a couple little things to finish on the bar. Got this aerial mount from UHF, so I've got to find a spot for that and weld that on. And another thing is bloody number plate. So the last time I built a bar, I built it, painted it, and I think I was in bed and I thought, far out, I forgot somewhere to put my number plate. So this time I'm not making the same mistake, and I'll make something up to screw it on there, or I don't know, I'll figure it out. But yeah, obviously the bar's still on there, so I can make the scrubbies, which will hopefully be today or tomorrow. I'll want to get all of it pretty much done, and then I can pull it all off and yeah, finish the bar off, and yeah, obviously the sliders and that'll be all done. But yeah, the more I look at this bar, the more I like it. It's yeah, I'm actually really happy with it. A lot of people don't like the style of doing the rear hoops first. A lot of people like a main hoop and then the two side hoops, but I've always, ever since I've owned a four-wheel drive, I've always preferred this style, doing the hoops first, the side hoops first, and then just running the center bar over. So I've always liked that, and yeah, like this is definitely, I'm very happy with it. So anyway, we'll get cracking. Also, let's just appreciate how good the 80 looks on stock wheels. What a weapon. If he comes around today, which I think he will, I'll see if he'll do a burnout or something for us. It'll be pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, you got some new rims. Now, all you cruiser people, tell me what's different about them rims going on this 80 series. See if you can spot it. Drop a comment and see if you can figure it out. Job number one is drill all these out and tap the holes out. Painful job. So I don't think I'll make his watch me. Actually, I might make his watch a time lapse. Yeah, we'll do that. I do not recommend doing this, but no time to mess around. This is a frustrating job. You gotta have a bit of feel about it so don't snap the tap, but a bit dodgy. Works though. All right, not so painful using the drill, but anyway, it's all good. That didn't take very long at all. So I'll clean all these up, and then someone bought out all the 12 by 20 bolts. So I had to get 12 by 30 and I've got to cut them down. So all the bolts in and then zing the backs off them and then clean it up so it's nice and flush. And then that's probably the painful job out of the way. Then it's the fun stuff. That's the painful bit done. 2 out of 10 for enjoyment. That wasn't fun. So yeah, that's what they look like. 2 bits bolted together. And then yeah, I just cut off the ends and then flapper wheel them flush. So they're all good to go. Now the fun bit is making the sliders, so we'll get into that. So I've done a little bit of bending. I won't show you too much of that stuff because I put too much of it in the last video. So you don't realise how long you talk for. That last video went for a fair bit longer than I thought. So I'll try not to make it that long again. But anyway, I've bent up the back section. Now I like to run my sliders in reverse, so to speak. So the bends are on the inside bit of tube. Conventional ones usually have a straight bit of tube and the bend coming this way. I don't really like that design. I like having this section come out here because when it comes out this way, you end up with this big hole here, which I've never done any damage in there, but anyway. And it's easier to mount your scrub rail. You can just go straight into the tube here, where if it's sort of bent out like that, you'd sort of have to bend it in a little bit more trickier. So yeah, personally, I just prefer that. And I'm not sure up this end, like my last sliders, they were pretty wide and I sort of want to avoid that again. I don't want to make them as wide. They don't really need to be, but I'm sort of contemplating whether to go straight with a kick at the end, because I like that, or have the section come out here a little bit wider and then have this bit of tube run into it, which I also probably nearly prefer that design. Similar to my last ones, but I reckon I'll just suck them in a little bit more. And yeah, I'll keep tinkering away and see what I come up with. So this is the basic shape of it. Now that I've got all the measurements and that, I can just make it off the car and then I can just replicate it pretty easy. It won't take long. So that's tacked in. This bit's not, but I'll give you a little hot tip when building sliders. If you're going to put bits in here, measure them and notch them and put them in before you weld this front section on. Because there's because it's so tight, if you notch it and you have to put it in on an angle and try and straighten it up, good luck. So unless, yeah, you could, like, I'm going to do them straight, but yeah, unless you're 45 them, wouldn't be so bad. But yeah, doing straight ones, definitely notch them and cut them and slip them in there before this front bit goes on. I got on a bit of a roll there, had the music going, and yeah, I ended up welding it out. So it's all done, come up pretty good. So pretty happy with it. I started up there. It sits maybe like 50 mil further in than my last set, which is about what I wanted. So yeah, now I've just got to make the other side, which is pretty basic. It's all written down. Yeah, it'll only take not even an hour to whip up the other side, so I'll get stuck into it. And that's that. So yeah, I just smashed out this other one. I've got one sitting up here, so it's about how it sits. So lots of protection, and yeah, like I said, easy to get the scrub rail. It'll go right here somewhere. So yeah, easy. So all this is done, that's welded out. Obviously plate's done this morning. So pretty much it's ready to mount, but it's like nearly 5 o'clock and there's no way I'm getting under there to start welding underneath the car this late. So that's going to be a job I will leave for tomorrow. So we'll check back in then. All right, picking up where we left off yesterday. It's too bloody early on a Sunday morning and would have been a good day to go driving because it is raining. But anyway, power on and finish this. So like I said, I just got to mount these and then do the scrub rails. I don't think I'll film mounting these because can't really see anything under there, and there'll probably be a lot of swearing, so yeah, it's not a fun job. But anyway, I'll get cracking on that and see where we end up. This is up there with one of the worst jobs, doing bar work. I'll show you under here, see if you can see it. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, 3 mounts are done, but the plates are only tacked onto the chassis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the plates off the chassis back off, and then weld it all up, put some bracing in it, and then put it back up to where it was, and then weld the plates on the chassis. Because when you weld these joins, the bits of pipe that join the slider to the plate, if I just undo all the bolts and then weld them up, chances are it's not going to line up. It only has to be like a quarter of a hole out and it won't line up. So yeah, it's all done, and then yeah, weld it up and then weld the plates on the chassis when it's all welded up. That way nothing's moving. But yeah, this job sucks. I'm not a fan. So beside getting this all plated in, which I think I mentioned earlier or in another video, so all this is getting plated in sections. I'll do it, so that section. So apart from that, they're done, and obviously you clean up the ends and that, but so all these are welded out, a couple strong backs on them, probably a bit of an overkill, but doesn't really matter. See if you can see that, so helps with it not flexing up. But yeah, so it's all welded out. Now all I got to do is bolt these back on to the sliders, and then sit it back up there, put it in position, and then weld the plates onto the chassis. So I'll do that. I'm not going to show you any more of the slider stuff because this is not a fun job. So yeah, I'll do this, and then I'll do the other side, and then see where we end up with the day, whether I start on scrub rails. If you haven't had leftover pizza, sandwich pressed together like that, you haven't lived. That's the best way to eat leftover pizzas. So both sliders are done. Yeah, obviously the right side's mounted and the left side's mounted. So the plates on the chassis aren't fully stitched on. I can't really get in there good enough with the slider on, so I want to make the scrub rails and finish off what I'm doing, and then pull it all off and then stitch the plates on the chassis. So yeah, that'll be pretty soon. But anyway, I ran out of time today to do the scrub rails, so I'll do that during the week or whatever. I will add that into this video though. But yeah, this mounting the sliders, that is not fun. I'm probably filthy in the face. It's yeah, I was not having a good time mounting them, I'll tell you that much. So I'll be glad once that's over and done with. But anyway, yeah, so that's it for the day. But I'll check in when I do these scrub rails, because they won't take too long, only a couple of hours I reckon. And then yeah, after that I suppose I'll pull it all back off. So we'll see us when we do the scrub rails. Well, I didn't have time during the week to do the scrubbies, so it's actually the weekend after, and now I've got lots to do. So yeah, today I'll be finishing these scrubbies. They won't really take too long. These came in the mail, which yeah, they're Camberg joiners, so probably hard to see. I don't want to touch it, it's covered in oil, but one bolt either side and they interlock together. So I'll put that here somewhere. Yeah, slide it, obviously weld it either side, then yeah, you got a nice clean join. They're not bulky, yeah, and they look nice. So they come in the mail the other day, which is sort of what I needed to finish them off anyway. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Once I do the scrubbies, then yeah, it's all coming off. So we'll get cracking into that because I need to get this done. I've also got a light bar, which I'm going to be putting on the front here, so that'll fit in there nicely. So that, along with one up on the roof, which will be on the roof rack. It's pretty much the same as I got in the race car, one on the bar and one on the roof. Works well. So yeah, I've got room for one, so why not put one on there? So I've got to mount that too, along with the aerial and a couple other things. So it's going to be a busy weekend, I think. Alright, so I've just sort of bent up one side. Scrub rail is a little bit tricky. They've got 3 different bends on 2 different planes. So you can see that bends 90 degrees to that, which is 90 degrees to that. So that might illustrate a little bit better. Maybe. There's like, when you do one bend, the other bend's got to be 90 degrees to that. So it can get a little bit tricky trying to line it all up and trying to hold it up there and mark it all and whatever, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty close. The hardest bit now is to notch it the correct length, because 10 mil too much on the notch and it'll put the scrub rail in the wrong place, and then you got to start again. So I've marked all the starts and the finishes of the bends, marked all the degrees. So if this all works, then I can measure the notches, and then yeah, if it all works, it will be pretty easy to make the other side. So anyway, we'll notch her out and see what it looks like. So far, I think it's pretty good. I've notched it. It's come pretty nice. So notched either end, it's just tacked in one spot. I'm thinking it might be a little bit too high, maybe. Might take a little bit more out of that notch, lower it all down a little bit. And as you lower it down, because of the angle of this front tube here, if you can see that, as you lower it down, it'll push it back, and that'll create a bit more of a gap there. But anyway, I'll see what I can do. I reckon it probably needs to come down maybe 20 mil. So that took me about 15 minutes to bend up. It's done. I've marked the end of each bend, well, all the bends. That way I can measure for the notch either way. And yeah, I've got the degree of the notch written down too. So it's all written down, so I should pretty much just be able to measure, set the notcher up, notch, and go sit on the other side. Providing that all my bar works symmetrical, it should just sit on there and be good. It's so hard getting something symmetrical that you can't eye up between them. So I've done all the measurements and bloody angle gauging and whatever else I can do to make sure that these are as close as the same. So come up pretty good. I've never been a massive fan of scrub rails, but yeah, I kind of like these. So I put a bit of a weld on it. I am running out of time, got to be home, so put a bit of a weld on it and see what they look like, I suppose. Well, I put a bit of weld on it. Yeah, scrubby's pretty much done, but I don't have time today. But yeah, all I got to do is bang these cambergs in, so you can see they interlock with a bolt either side. So what I'm actually going to do, I can do it while it's off the car, doesn't matter. I'm going to put a bit of tube from here up to here with a bit of a bend in it, like that. And then right at the end of that, I'm going to put the camberg there. So all I do is cut one end and then slide it in, put it next to the tube there, and then you can mark where your other cut's got to be, and then yeah, you can bend that out of the way, slip it in, and yeah, then weld it up while it's in there. So it's easier to do it that way you know that top bit of tube's all in line. If you've done it separately, like welded this on and then added a little section at the end, it could potentially have it could fall or rise or whatever. So yeah, that's just how I do it. Haven't had an issue doing it that way. So yeah, other side's on, no issues. And while I was here, I just welded the aerial mount on. And yeah, pretty much, yeah, all I gotta do is bang these cambergs in, which I'm not gonna put in the video, and then take it all off and then finish welding it out and doing whatever. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. And can't forget the light bar either. So fits in there pretty good. Snug little sneaky light bar. So that helps with like seeing right in front of you, because obviously the roof projects one like pretty far, and yeah, if your headlights are no good, which GQs aren't, Yeah, the light bar on the front is good for seeing right in front of you, so it does work well. As promised, we got into a shed skid.
Got the cheesies on.
We've chopped the wheels. Take 3. Well, here we go. Managed to do one. That was good. So yeah, I'll wrap the video up there. You'll obviously see the rest of that done in a future video when it's actually done. So yeah, there's, like I said earlier, there's not that much to do and I can pull it off and finish her up. But yeah, if you are enjoying me doing this sort of thing, make sure you let me know. I do enjoy being in the shed and doing this sort of thing. So yeah, it is quite fun. I do spend a lot of time in it. So yeah, if you are enjoying it, let me know. If you want to keep up to date with what's going on, subscribe and even follow me on Instagram or whatever. And yeah, if you want to see me do anything different or you got any questions about it, just swing me a message or whatever. So yeah, drop a comment, drop a like, whatever, do all the normal stuff, and we will see you on the next one.